We're live.
And we're live. Hey, Adam, how are you?
Hey, pretty good. Vikings won, so that's always good.
They did win.
5-3-1 now.
Yeah, 5-3-1, which doesn't sound that bad. If you'd asked me at the beginning of the season if they'd be sitting at 5-3-1 right now, I would have said, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
There's been some, some lumps along the way, and they maybe should be better. We'll always come back to the Buffalo game, but 24-9, Vikings win. They were in control this whole game. Would you disagree with that? I mean, 24-9 makes it look like it was really lopsided, but for most of it, the score was a lot closer, but they never really seemed – it was never really in doubt, was it? I mean
what did they get, a touchdown on their opening drive? A couple nice catches there by Chad Beebe.
Yeah, buddy.
And who got the touchdown? I think Latavius Murray officially got the touchdown, but Rudolph,
did they give it to him eventually?
Yeah,
okay.
Even though Rudolph recovered it. And then, I feel like the Vikings tried a couple times to keep the Lions in the game, but the Lions were just the Lions, and they couldn't block. I don't know if it was because of their posture or whatever on the offensive line, or
see what you did there,
or something else. But yeah, the Vikings took care of business today. They had to. It's good win, not only because it's just a win, but it's against the NFC North opponent, against the NFC opponent. Keeps them in the thick of the NFC playoff standings. I know it's only week 9, but it's still an important win. And
it is. We're almost halfway through the season, and these games it feels like we should be like, well, maybe it doesn't matter that much. It is important. It was an important game. As far as the division is concerned, it was very important. I'm obviously not – at this point after the game, I'm not exactly impressed by the Vikings' performance, because it felt for a stretch there in the third quarter, there was a stretch where it was like, who wants to give the game away more, and that kind of was like, well, this is not what we were looking for as Viking fans. But I mean, it was never really in doubt, but the fake punt or whatever that was bummed me out.
I saw that coming from like a mile away, because they went up. It was like there was like 9 minutes left, and I think the score was 17-6 still. And then it was 4th and 3 or something like that. And
it was.
I'm like, if they punt the ball away, the game's over anyway. So why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't you take a chance at it?
And
that was where I was like, it feels like nobody wants this game. It feels like nobody's that interested in winning. But like you said, all things considered, it was an important game. The Vikings kind of had to have it, and so they did, and that was good. How do you feel about the well, first, let's talk about the defense. We had been kind of missing a little bit of pressure on the quarterback the last few weeks. No issues with pressure on the quarterback this week, 10 sacks, and oh my God, is Danielle Hunter a stud.
Yeah, he's 24 years old.
Wow.
Got 11.5 sacks this year in 9 games. I think that's pretty good.
God, but it's too bad he's going to be a free agent next year. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, wait.
Man, the Vikings look smarter and smarter as every week goes by, and that guy gets more and more sacks. And he got a touchdown today.
Yeah.
So,
the defense looked incredible. There are definitely still spots that concern me, obviously, and like big picture concerns. It feels like they never win unless the defense scores.
Yeah.
Would you disagree with that? I mean, they're capable of winning without the defense scoring, but have they won yet without the defense scoring?
I think they need the defense to get turnovers. I wouldn't necessarily say that they need them to get a score, but they definitely need the defense to get turnovers this year. And I feel like every game that they've won the turnover battle, they've won the game, which is usually how it should go.
Definitely.
I know they had the interception last week against the Saints, but I'm pretty sure the Saints forced more turnovers than the Vikings, and ended it with the Vikings losing. But I think the defense is starting to like really come into its own.
Definitely.
I didn't understand why Xavier Rhodes was still on the field today when it looked like he was in and out being hurt, and it didn't really look like Holton Hill was,
struggling or anything
a
like that.
nuisance being out there. So I'm like, you got the bye week next week. Why keep Rhodes on the field and potentially hurt himself more? But apparently he wanted to play. It's hard to get those guys off the field.
Yeah, they do want to do that, I guess, which is a good thing in the long run. Kind of along those same lines, how did you feel about Dalvin Cook playing? Like he played an important part in the game, had a big, a very important run, looked really good, which was impressive. But would you have rather? I would rather they just sat him out, let Latavius do whatever they need to. It looked like, in hindsight, it's easy to say that they were going to win this game, but or could have won it without him, I guess.
Yeah, you could say that, but at the same time, you want to go into every game with your best players, and I think Zimmer said after the game in his presser that he doesn't really care about bye weeks or anything like that. If you're healthy enough to play, then you're going to play.
Yeah.
So
can't argue with that.
Yeah, he was healthy enough. Diggs wasn't. That was obvious with Thielen having triple coverage on him all day long. His streak came to an end. That's okay. He's still tied for the record for the most 100-yard games. He caught a touchdown. So.
You see, that's the thing is everyone's like, oh, man, Adam Thielen, he didn't play very well. Well, it's like he still caught a touchdown and had, was a very important part of the offense. But, yeah, he didn't have over 100 yards again.
The offense in general didn't, play amazing. I think Kirk Cousins only had like 164 yards passing, which is less than Nathan Peterman had today. So
wow.
But he didn't have to. They didn't have to be explosive. I think he had 22 pass attempts.
Yes.
He didn't need to. Like I tweeted out right before we started talking. Like this game is exactly why Kirk Cousins signed with the Vikings, because he didn't have to play amazing. He didn't have to put the team on his back because the defense was playing so well. He could just go in there and go through motions. If he made a mistake or two, that's fine because the defense was just playing out of their mind.
That is the ideal, I don't want to say ideal stat line, but if Kirk Cousins throws for like 150 to 200 yards, has a touchdown or two, and one or fewer interceptions, they probably win. That's ideal. It's not good for him to be throwing for 500 yards a game because that means they're not in a good position. They're not running the ball. They're not.
I didn't look at it, but it did seem like they ran the ball a little less in the second half than they did in the first half. But that's typically what they've been doing under DeFilippo this year. But he didn't. He just didn't have to. They didn't have to play out of their mind. You're right. You shouldn't want Kirk Cousins to throw for 500 yards because that either means that you're down by a lot or your running game isn't working out.
Is gone. Yes, exactly.
I was impressed by Chad Beebe today.
Yeah, buddy.
I know some people are going to think this is crazy, but why is he, or how is he not a better option on the field than Treadwell?
Has to be. Immediately is your number 3 wide receiver. Immediately.
I don't even know about 3. Aldrick Robinson, he appears to be.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
But I did hear, right before we talked, that Zimmer said in his press conference that for the past 3 weeks they've been trying to find a way to get BB activated. So, he's been on their mind apparently. Just getting open in practice and stuff and doing well in there. So, could be a nice little weapon for the Vikings to have as they end the season. We both liked him in the preseason, so
yes, we did.
Shouldn't be too surprised with the way that he came out and played today.
He feels like he fits the offense better than Treadwell. Feels like it's a part that they're trying to work into their system, whereas BB feels like that he fits into their schematically what they're doing a lot better than Treadwell. Well, that too, but
he's a good route runner and he's able to get separation pretty easily, which is the opposite of Treadwell.
True.
Treadwell, he didn't look too bad today. He got a couple of catches and a couple of yards after the catch, but nothing spectacular.
I think we need to graduate with him. We need to graduate to grading him not on I haven't been on the field in 4 years, 3 years grade. We need to start grading him as can we get more production out of this spot from somebody else? And I think at this point you can. I think it's obvious that you can. I think it's obvious that BB would give you more production from that spot than Treadwell would.
Mm-hmm.
But
even Zylstra, but we didn't see a lot of him
No, he didn't play a ton.
But must be, BB must be just tearing it up out there.
He looked good to me. I was very impressed with Cook. I just can't.
Yeah.
He adds a different dimension to this offense, and a lot of these like talking heads on TV and whatever have been saying that for weeks. But until you see that like speed, that like that one run is like that's why he is so important.
He had a couple catches where it looked like he might break free, and they like barely got tackled, like shoestring tackles. So that's something to look forward to. I think where the Vikings got when they come back from the bye, they've got at the Bears, and they got the Packers, and at New England, and at Seattle. So they're going to need a player like Cook in there to give them another dimension to their offense against this tough stretch of games they've got coming up.
Yeah, no kidding. What a good time for the bye to happen to get guys healthy before they head into that stretch. Yikes on Monday.
They have Diggs and Thielen back after their bye in there. Cook should be in there. Rhodes should be healthier. Even Sendejo might be back. He's been out for a while. Riley Reef played today. So they got their bye at the right time. They're getting healthy at the right time. This is the time of year where you want, your team to be healthy and
and it's so obvious that this offense has not yet settled into what it is yet. I mean, we're seeing glimpses of it from time to time, but it definitely hasn't had the game yet.
Right.
And if they can put that together and have the game late in the season and be, playing their best football going into the playoffs, they're going to be pretty tough to beat.
Yeah. I think the goal probably right now is to win the NFC North. I think it would be difficult if they were a wild card, but I think at the same time, if they win the NFC North and they only get one home playoff game, I think they can play well on the road. They've played well on the road this year, especially Kirk Cousins against the Rams. He looked good. Obviously, that was on a short week. I think if they had a full week to prepare for the Rams, I think they'd look a lot better. That was also without Everson Griffin on the field.
Yeah,
so it's and pretty much without Dalvin Cook. I don't think he really was a factor.
No, not enough to. Yeah.
So I'm wins like this that they should win. I get more excited about because if this was a 2016 team that this team keeps getting compared to, I don't think they would win this kind of game. It would be more head scratching going into the bye week. Like,
yes, the games would be a lot closer all the way around because that's what it seems. They play the good teams really well and keep it close, and then save the Bills game. It seems like they do what they need to do in games like this where they kind of, lay down the law a little bit. And
looks like Mike Zimmer learned from his mistakes last week too, going forward early on fourth down in his own territory, not on or in the Lions territory, not on his own territory. And then the driving down the field with less than 40 seconds to go with all your timeouts, and they got 3 points. What do you know?
It's crazy. Did Bailey miss any kicks today? He was perfect, was he not?
No, I know it
feels good when that happens.
He was on his extra points. He was lining up from the other hash mark,
the right hash today.
Yes, so not the one where he missed it last week. So.
Why you would switch that is just
why you don't kick in the middle. I don't understand.
Yeah, it feels. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not even gonna try and like wrap my brain around why they do what they do. But isn't like a muscle memory thing? Be like a free throw, same routine every time, do the same thing, step your thing off every time, kick it from the same spot every time. Yeah. Oh no, randomly I just put it on the left hash and I miss for fun.
It might be that and a combination of him kicking in US Bank Stadium. He's only been there for a couple weeks and he hasn't maybe gotten familiar. Obviously kickers in that stadium. Not the greatest, so could be something.
Only when they wear purple, Adam. Yeah. Only when they're wearing purple.
Yeah.
The Seabass looked great.
How do you feel about the Vikings going to the bye? Do you feel good?
I feel a lot better after this game than I did before it.
Better.
But I don't know. I don't feel great. But then when you compare them to, because like there's going to be this hunk of mediocrity in the NFC. And then there's going to be like 3 or 4 teams that are going to come out of that are going to have an actual chance. Yep. And I'm trying to put the Vikings in that spot. And I don't know if I can right now, but I'm feeling better about their chances to be there at the end.
I feel like they're maybe like a step above of those teams. Like not the best, one of the best teams in the NFC, but not in the middle. Like I think they're better than the Bears. I think they're better than the Redskins, better than the Falcons.
Yes.
Better than the Seahawks.
But I think they're kind of a step below the Saints, the Rams,
even the Panthers.
God, did you see the Panthers again today?
A little reverse play.
Double reverse. It's Norva's running double reverses in the red zone.
Nice that he's doing that stuff, but when he couldn't figure out, how to do any of that stuff with the Vikings, but whatever.
I just have never had a colder take in my life.
and Cam Newton's having the most accurate year of his life this year.
Yes, he's been incredible. It's just unbelievable. Oh God, yeah.
I don't really want to see in the playoffs.
Oh, who's that?
The Carolina.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs. Here's the thing. That's another way that I start to look at it is I'm not very afraid of the Rams. I think it'd be a tough game, but I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of New Orleans in the playoffs. I might be a little bit afraid of Carolina.
Especially if it's on the road.
Yeah, but I feel like the Vikings are right there. They just have yet to put it. It's like right now, if you had that team play any of those upper echelon NFC teams, I think they get beat by all of them right now. I think it's close, but I think they get beat by all of them.
Yeah, I think it depends where the game is.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Well, who do they beat at home, though? Because they just got beat by – I don't think they beat New Orleans at home. Maybe they beat the Rams at home. I'll give you the Rams at home. Yeah,
I think they would beat the Saints in Minnesota.
I don't know. Ekamara is such a mismatch for those linebackers.
Yeah, but I feel like the Vikings last week beat themselves more than the Saints got that win. I feel like if
I don't disagree with that.
They played that games 10 times, the Vikings would probably get 7 or 8 wins out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. I mean,
the defense getting healthier, the offense.
And that's the thing that makes me feel better going into the bye is they got some players back. The defense looks good again, and if those guys are going to get healthy and Diggs is going to come back, there's no reason to think that they can't win the division. And if they win the division and you got a chance in the playoffs, then I'm good.
I know the Lions don't have an amazing pass rush, but how did you feel about the offensive line today? I felt pretty good.
I thought it looked a lot. Yeah, I was impressed. Well, the thing that really kind of impressed me today from an offensive line standpoint was how they ran the ball. I mean, Dalvin Cook is great, but they were opening up. So anybody could have run through that 70-yard run or whatever it was that Cook had. There were a lot of running backs that could have taken that a very long way.
Elfline, it's really just his return has just made that running game so much better.
Real quick, David Morgan. Do we have a David Morgan injury update? Because
I don't know when it was, but I did see him hobbling off the field. He's got a bye week, so hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Got a bye week. I mean, I just announced that he was the key to the success. Yeah, was him, and then he hobbles off the field.
Brian O'Neill looks good.
He did.
Rookie out there. You're not hearing his name.
Saw a play late in the game where Brian O'Neill got angry.
Oh, I did see that.
Pushed a guy over. It was mad. And I was Rook, yeah, get him. So I'm encouraged by O'Neill. I'm encouraged.
That feistiness.
Yeah, you got to have it. And I think a lot of times those, not even rookies, but even even older guys get kind of eaten up by the rock stars of the league because they got no swag. Have a little swag, O'Neill. Get some.
No, it's good. I liked what I saw out of him. I wish I would have probably muted the TV again because it was that wonderful combination of Spielman and Tom.
Tomorrow we're gonna go through. That's gonna be a full segment that we're gonna do.
Spielman had a moment where he was talking about disciplining his kids or something, and how his wife doesn't like the way he does it sometimes. And what are you?
There were so many awful, awkward, uncomfortable moments. Why was he doing a spin move off a dude at one point?
At the mouth when he was doing that.
Oh man, it was real bad. So yeah, I wanted to break that down. We'll get into that in more detail tomorrow. But yeah, holy cow, they were so bad. It was so bad. don't do it very often
because Spielman was with the Lions and his brother's the Vikings, so he's going to probably be on.
He's got the inside takes
that aren't the top, the top games.
Yeah, golly, it was really, really, really tough to listen to. Real bad. I didn't. I tried to turn on the radio broadcast. Too much of a delay. I couldn't. I couldn't handle it.
Couldn't sync it up.
No, it was.
The game was actually on TV out here today. So I
oh really?
Yeah.
So you got to like watch.
Yeah. I mean, I watch it live.
Well, yeah, but
it was nice to just not have to stream it from my computer.
I was gonna say you just had to turn on television and sit down instead of like logging on and all that stuff. No, I hear you, man. Yeah, it feels like they're gonna be a good team, but I don't know if they're a good enough team to get to like Super Bowl stuff. Right now, but I think there's room for them to get to that point yet.
They can hit their stride. I think obviously these next 4 games will show a lot. If they can get a win on the road in New England,
people would be looking at them a lot differently after that, for sure.
Yeah. So
I think they're capable of it. If the defense plays well and the offense doesn't turn the ball over, I think they can do it.
Yeah, they've got a couple games where they can make some big statements. They got to get wins against NFC North opponents, upon the Bears and the Packers. So they got to get those wins. The Patriots win over the Patriots would be nice, but it's not the most necessary win.
Yeah, you have to win the division.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a guarantee to, obviously, if you win the division, it's guaranteed to get in the playoffs. But I think that would be a better scenario for them than a wild card. I don't think they probably won't be getting one of the top 2 seeds. So the division is probably something to try and work towards for sure.
Definitely. Well, my friend,
what you got for today?
That's all I got.
Any any punter talk or anything you want to leave?
No, kickers looked okay, punters looked pretty good. Marcus Sherrills, when Marcus Sherrills is back, he just makes all the special teams.
Yeah, punt and like within the 5-yard line.
Yeah, he looked okay.
Okay. Oh man.
No, he was that one kick was good. But that was Marcus Sherrills, man. That's Marcus Sherrills. He's responsible for Marcus Sherrills is like he's like a great catcher. He just improves everybody. He improves all the pitching staff. Like that's what Marcus Sherrills does too.
Like the Vikings Don Beebe. So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
So from this game, we've learned Danielle Hunter is not a human.
No, robot for sure.
Play Don Beebe over Treadwell, even though Beebe might not be as good of a run blocker, but he plays. And Mackenzie Alexander, he got another sack today. He has, 3 more sacks than Anthony Barr this year, so that's good. And then somebody was like, "Well, Anthony Barr's job isn't to rush the passer all the time." Oh, really? Because Mackenzie Alexander's job is to do that?
Just to rush the passer? Come on, give me a break. Yeah, I want to talk tomorrow a little bit like in depth about like, has this made kind of Anthony Barr obsolete after these couple of weeks? Like, yikes. Yeah, man, like that's a tough sell. Anthony Barr's agent to the Vikings. Like, hey, you got to pay this guy top money now. Yeah, so we'll get into that a little bit tomorrow, but I know we might have a little bit differing opinion, but yeah, a little bit, not a lot. I mean, we're basically on the same wavelength.
If I can sway you,
yeah, he probably will. I'm not very.
Do some research. Give you some stats.
There you go. Yeah, I gotta get some stats ready about Anthony Barr.
We'll see
how the defense looks when he's on.
We'll look at his pass rushing efficiency compared to Mackenzie Alexander.
Just think about what you're saying out loud. Anthony Barr versus Mackenzie Alexander, pass rushing efficiency. Hey man, the shoe fits. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just like, how have we gotten to this point?
Oh, yeah. X.
Man,
Why is Mackenzie Alexander getting to the quarterback and you're not Anthony Barr?
I mean, it's a fair question when when that guy has more sacks than Anthony Barr. That's a fair question. That's a fair question. Big win for the Vikings, though.
Oh yeah, big win.
Only gave up 9 on defense, scored on defense.
We thought it was going to happen, but it was important. Still important.
It was
Crucial.
very important.
Was it a must win? I think so.
I think so. Easier just for me to say yes, a must win after they won.
Good. You feel good about going to the bye week. You know, you got some stuff to work on, but you know, you feel good about the way your team's probably playing going into the bye week, and your team's going to get healthier. Got 2 weeks to prepare for the Bears. Should be probably a slugfest in Chicago.
Yeah,
it'll be a day game, so that's at least one thing to look forward to. Won't be at night.
In all things considered, for as far as the Vikings go, I mean, like, are they in a good position to make the playoffs and win the division? Yes. Is there still a chance that they can like put all of their stuff together and get some consistency from all of these questionable, like whatever? Yeah, like there's a good chance that they could still get to where we hope they get.
That's a lot of time left. Jared Goff, Drew Brees, and Cam Newton could all get hurt before the playoffs begin.
That would be great. Yeah, hopefully.
No, yeah, but
hopefully because we want guys to get hurt because we don't want them to get hurt.
Well,
but I mean, we want it to be easier for the Vikings to win the Super Bowl. I don't care. I'm fine with that.
You can say that. I'll just keep it to myself.
All right. Well, cool. I will see you tomorrow for our regularly scheduled program.
What's the radio station called?
It's on Purple Territory Radio.
Oh yeah, live,
and it's also live there, and then it also is on iTunes, and it's also on YouTube, and it's also we're everywhere.
Live at what 6:30 p.m. Central.
Yes, sir. 6:30 Central Time.
All right.
I'll see you then.
All right. Skull
Vikes.